Welcome to the Rockland Unified School District Elementary Standards-Based Report Card Update for 2016. What is standards-based grading? Standards-based grading communicates how students are performing on a set of clearly defined learning targets called standards. The purpose of standards-based grading is to identify what a student knows or is able to do in relation to pre-established learning targets, as opposed to simply averaging grades or scores over the course of a grading period, which can mask what a student has learned or not learned in a specific course or class. Standards-based report cards separate academic performance from work habits and behavior in order to provide parents with a more accurate view of a student's progress in both academic and behavioral areas. Variables such as effort, participation, timeliness, cooperation, attitude, and attendance are reported separately, not as an indicator of a student's academic performance. How are my child's marks determined? A student's performance on a series of assessments will be used to determine a student's overall score in a course. Practice assignments, such as homework or classwork, are just that, practice, and thus should serve primarily as a source of feedback and instructional support for both students and teachers. Scores on practice assignments should not be used as a major component of a student's academic grade. Last year was our first year using a standards-based report card. Based on our experiences from last year and feedback from our RUSD Elementary Report Card Survey in spring of 2016, a committee gathered to evaluate the effectiveness of our standards-based report cards and recommended adjustments to improve its ability to report out student progress to students and families. What are the goals of the changes? Our hope is to make the report card content relevant, meaningful, and as consistent as possible throughout the grade levels. We are also hoping to improve the language of some of the standards to be more easily understood by both families and staff while staying true to the standards being taught. We also hope to decrease the overall number of categories that are reported out for each student each trimester. And we also have a new grade book that has automated communication with the report card. On the front of the report card, you will find the explanation of marks. This describes how your student is doing in the various fields on the report card. One of the shifts in the standards-based report card is that teachers are reporting out on end-of-year mastery at the end of each of the trimesters. At the end of the first trimester, it is expected that many students will not be showing mastery over most of the standards yet. Each child is cognitively different, will have different successes and challenges throughout the learning process, and will achieve mastery at different rates. Your child's teacher will be monitoring their progress towards end-of-year mastery and will be communicating with you on their progress. One of these marks is the progress towards standard. A score of 2 signifies that a student has not yet mastered end-of-year expectations of the particular standard it is referencing. A student might begin the year performing at a level 1 or 2 on some subcategories of reading, writing, and math. It is our goal and expectation that all students will be meeting grade level standards, signified by a score of 3 by the end of the academic year. Remember, a mark of 3 indicates that a student is consistently performing on grade level and meeting grade level expectations with independence and excellence. With high and challenging expectations, a 3 is exactly where a competent student should be. Students successfully meeting grade level standards should earn at least 3s by the end of the school year. Getting a 4 is not about what more a student or teacher does. It is what a student knows, and at what level he or she applies what he or she knows to new and higher level situations that exceeds what is explicitly taught in class. The 3 is a top for the grade level and should be celebrated as such. A 4 is an exceptional score and is earned by having a consistent performance at standards above grade level. Note, some areas on the report card may not be applicable to earning a 4. Students earning a 4 tend to demonstrate a higher level of knowledge above and beyond what is presented in the classroom setting. On the front of the report card, you will find the characteristics of a successful learner. There have been some slight adjustments to make this section more meaningful for teachers and families, including adding additional description to the subheadings. For intrapersonal domain, we've added the description of self, and for interpersonal domain, we've added the description pertaining to others. We've combined perseveres and demonstrates best effort to be one category. We've also moved attentive listener to be an intrapersonal domain. We've also done a little bit of rewording. On the front of the report card, you will also find the Science and History Social Science section. This section has changed slightly from last year. In an effort to decrease the overall number of categories that are reported out for each student each trimester, this section has changed. We have moved it from the back of the report card to the front, so it is listed on the same page as the ELA. The content has not changed. This will occur after the adoption of next generation science standards and if and when history social science standards are updated. A significant change to this section is that all content areas and concepts are expected to be taught throughout the year, but teachers no longer report out which trimester each concept is being taught in, though this may be described in the comments. Accountability is reported out mainly through reading, specifically informational text, and writing in all domains. We've added the description that these are embedded within informational text and writing. The English Language Arts section of the report card is located on the left of the front page. One of our goals is to make sure that we have consistency among the grade levels. We have added the description of including science and history social science to the informational text section of the language arts subject area. One of the adjustments we have made is we will be reporting out current reading levels and sight word recognition based on grade level expectations. This has condensed some of the redundant categories to be more meaningful for teachers and families. We've also combined the range of reading and text complexity for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grades. They are no longer reported out as a reading level and are more aligned with grade level fluency and comprehension. In the writing section, we have also added the description that it includes science and history social science. We will also keep the 3 genres of writing, but have simplified the language. We have also condensed the language of writing standards. These are embedded in the writing instruction and are unscored. Lastly, we have shifted a language standard to be located within writing, since conventions tends to be most easily assessed through writing. On the back of the report card, you will find your child's progress on math standards. Because we have a math curriculum, Bridges for K-5 and CPM for 6th grade, it has helped us to better understand the standards. We have condensed appropriate standards, which eliminates redundancies, and improve the language so it is more easily understood. We have also decreased the overall number of categories that are reported out for each student each trimester. At the top, you will find the math major clusters and are specific to the grade level in which your child is in. The supporting and additional clusters are located toward the middle of this section. Supporting and additional standards can engage students in the major standards of the grade, but a majority of their time will be spent on the major standards. With that being said, the supporting and additional clusters are no longer scored. These are also specific to the grade level that your child is in. The standards of mathematical practices is the last section in the math. We have simplified the language of the standards of mathematical practices to be aligned with our state testing. These practices describe the way students should be applying the content, helping students to achieve at a higher level. The mathematical practices outline the expertise that will be developed in students of all ages and academic abilities. They are the same standards for all grade levels, but look different with children of various ages. On the report card, the 8 standards have been combined and condensed to 3: problem solving, communicates reasoning, and modeling and data analysis. In grades K through 2, these areas are not scored, but are listed as being worked on. In grades 3 through 6, these are scored with an E for excellent, S for satisfactory, and N for needs improvement. This description will be found on the front of the report card if needed. Also on the back of the report card, is your child's attendance for each trimester. Underneath attendance, you will find the teacher's comments for each trimester. This is a great area to find out more specific information about your child's progress in their classroom. So let's recap what has changed. Slight changes were made to standard wordings and groupings. We simplified scoring marks, no longer having taught and not taught. We no longer have a scoring or marking for science and social science, though these are integrated in with the writing and reading scores. We are also no longer scoring or marking supporting and additional clusters in math, no longer scoring standards of mathematical practices for K through 2, and the formatting has changed slightly. Sometime in the month of September, you should receive information from your child's teacher in order for you to be able to get logged into the ARIES portal, where you will have access to your child's gradebook and progress reports.